Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Nord and Block podcast. It is Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. We're in the Olympic break. It's Olympic time. LeBlanc, you watch any of the Olympic games?
I've been grinding the Olympic games. I watched the speed skating. I watched the skiing, the snowboarding.
Oh my god.
What else was there? I watched a lot of curling too.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I haven't had the opportunity to really watch it that much. The fact that it's all in the morning and stuff has been definitely mostly in the morning has definitely been hard for me with school and stuff. Maybe, hopefully, trying to get some stuff in tomorrow. Maybe watch some of whatever's on. But anyway, we're going to talk about the Olympics a little bit. Obviously, hockey is in the Olympic break, of course. One thing that I did watch last night? Well, first off, this episode is going to be a little bit different. LeBlanc doesn't really know what we're going to talk about today. I have a couple of things that we're going to talk about. He knows, we're going to talk about news and stuff later on in the episode, but he doesn't know what we're going to talk about specifically. But you know what I watched on Sunday night, and that was the Super Bowl. And the talk of the town is about the halftime show. Bad Bunny performing. There was obviously that other halftime show that TPUSA had or whatever. We don't have to talk about that, but Bad Bunny in the Super Bowl halftime show. What did we think?
I'm going to say I think I had no idea what brother was saying. However, it was kind of a vibe though. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't for me. You know what I mean? It wasn't for me specifically. So I'm not too I would say it will be memorable because I'll remember this as the year they had Bad Bunny, the year they had someone who doesn't speak English for the Super Bowl. I liked all the choreography was great. I also liked the messaging, how we're all together in this. Love conquers all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of. I mean, there's obviously, and everybody, tries to say, oh, there's only bad things going on in the world right now. There's always bad things going on in the world, 24/7, all the time, no matter who's in office. It doesn't matter. There's always bad things going on in the world. I love that message. Again, for me, I always look at it from the marketing perspective,
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of different things. And I know we've kind of taken that approach here a few times with this podcast. I saw it as a great way to promote the Spanish culture and appeal to that audience.
Yes.
I mean, especially in California and those southern areas, you have a lot of Spanish speaking culture.
A lot of Latin Americans. Yep.
Yeah. And especially in that area where it was in Los Angeles, it made a lot of sense. I mean, again, obviously, is him speaking Spanish unideal for the average American and the average probably Canadian as well? Yeah, obviously. I will say it here too. I didn't understand what he was saying. Maybe I should learn Spanish. I don't really got time for that, but I know it's going to sound very ignorant, but I'm just going to be honest with you.
Sounds about white.
But I will say this though, I didn't think it was bad. But again, for you, maybe it wasn't just for me. But I did like how the NFL wasn't just going with, the average, American performer. I'm glad they did something unique in a way.
I'm going to say, no matter who performs at the Super Bowl halftime show, everybody's always going to get it flack. No matter who's performing, it's going to be someone's going to have a problem with it. And it happens every year. I thought, you know what? After looking back, when I first started performing, I'm like, it's okay. And then as I started to got into the show, I thought, you know what, this is good. This is a good halftime show. I did see clips from the other halftime show, and I'll be honest, I like this halftime show better.
Yeah, there was accusations of them doing fake editing on it or whatever. Here, trying to do my best without making this a political thing.
Yep.
Here's what I don't understand about that is you try and claim about all of this how one side is creating division when you create a whole other halftime show to divide people up. That's the whole thing that I didn't understand from that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm not taking a position on it at all. I mean, you can have your opinions. You don't have to like him. You don't have to like Bad Bunny. You don't have to like, what was it, Kid Rock?
Kid Rock,
you don't have to like those people. It's whatever. But it's also at the same time, I thought Bad Bunny portrayed a very good message.
Mm.
I'm not saying Kid Rock portrayed a bad message in that. I didn't watch it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't really watch it. I didn't really see any of it. I'm not gonna lie.
That's fine. Yeah.
But because I was just watching the main one. But like I think that the message that Bad Bunny put across compared to what we were told was going to happen was very, very different. Like he could have taken a very like anti-political agenda.
Yeah,
and,
he could have done a huge political message saying, what's going on, in the United States right now. I think we're all aware of it. I'm not gonna say it on here, but we know what's going on in the States right now. He could have been a whole like taken the left side of things and done a big political statement, but no, his message was unity. Unity brings us together.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good,
great message
to put across there, and that's kind of what we need right now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I can speak for a lot of people. Like it's been a pretty tough time in America, especially in 2026. I mean, generally in North America, I would say. I don't know how things are up there, but like it's just
it's been a rough time for both countries. I would say. I think it's not as bad as it is down there compared to what the media says about it. But I still agree that unity brings us all together, and no matter it's a great message of multiculturalism, and that's the fine. That's really I don't know. It was good. It's funny. They had a stat of Bad Bunny's how much he moved around the field. He had more yards at halftime than the Patriots did.
I will say this too. The only problem, and again, this is going to be me getting all into it, but the only problem with that I had with the halftime show is that it probably sucked for the people who were there. You could kind of really not tell what was going on. They were in a field with a bunch of human bushes.
Yeah, no, there was a meme with how could you miss me? I was sugarcane number 179.
Yeah. It was I thought it was a really cool setting, but it's also at the same time it's I feel bad for the people there. You can barely see what's happening unless if you're right in the front of where they came out and all that stuff and where they were dancing and all that. You can barely see.
Yeah.
Or else you just have to watch on the TV. But I mean, again, that is pretty funny. I really, again, I didn't watch a ton of the game. This is the first Super Bowl in a while where I've genuinely watched the whole game, genuinely. Even last year with my Eagles, it's just I'm not.
You're not into. You've never been into football. You're not a football guy. That's fine.
Yeah, and you can criticize me for that or whatever with my opinion on the halftime. But all right. Anyway, I thought it was I actually thought it was actually from the perspective of was it dramatic or anything like that? No, it was a pretty boring game. But I also thought me getting into baseball and being into all the pitchers and stuff and ERAs and all that. I'm really into the defensive side of games.
So you like good defensive side of football.
The performance that the Seahawks put on was phenomenal, bar none. One of the best defensive performances in Super Bowl history, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it was really it's up there for sure. I wouldn't say it was the best, but it's up there.
Yeah. Well, what do I know? I don't know football. So, I will say this: they did a better job than the Mariners. Blue Jays reference there. Anyway, but yeah, any other thoughts on the Super Bowl? I do have one more thing. Did you see that burger? Did you see
Yes, I saw $180 burger.
Hang on, let me look that up real quick. I should have prepared that to talk about, but let's take a look at this burger. All right, I got it pulled up. This is a tweet from Darren Rovell, sorry, credit to him. So he says, here it is, folks, the LX Hammer Burger. It's $180 at the Super Bowl today. It's a cheeseburger with braised bone-in beef stank, roasted mirepoix, demi-glace, and Point Reyes blue cheese fondue on baked brioche bun, and there's just a massive-ass bone in it.
So here's my take. The Super Bowl, who was the Super Bowl, Evan? I think it's mostly just rich people.
Yeah. That's true.
So let's market to the rich folks. So if that was being sold at a game, a regular football game, what the hell? And I mean, football is generally, I think, in big four sports, football is the most expensive tickets.
Oh, 100%. I mean, when you look at how many games there are, and when you look at the importance and how popular the sport is, absolutely. Like I don't really think there's any sport that comes close.
Yeah.
Generally, like we always complain about how expensive hockey tickets are. Football is like
It's like
another level.
I've been trying to get down to a game for years now. I'm like, God, get $400 for bleeders? Like,
yeah, it's also like for you, it's like the problem is with you is like the closest stadium to you is like Buffalo,
New England.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Buffalo,
it's
New
just like,
England.
is it worth it? Is the other thing you have to ask yourself. But yeah, again, like tickets are expensive. I definitely agree with that sentiment. Like everybody was like losing their minds on the price. You do realize half these people paid like 10 grand
Yeah,
to
10 grand to be there, so they can afford a little. Like that's chump change to them.
Yeah, honestly. And I get like some people have like, they have like bucket lists, like money saved up
Yeah,
for this specific moment. I know that's the same way for like the World Series too.
yeah,
Like you saw that a lot when Toronto made it. People were like, I had money specifically put in this account for
yeah.
this time. Because again, you never know if you'll see it ever again in your lifetime.
Exactly. Yeah, you'll never know if you'll never know if you're gonna get back there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the other thing for sure. But yeah, like people were losing their mind about the price. But I wasn't really that.
I was going to say my final thoughts on the Super Bowl is that everyone's going to come and say, "Man, what a horrible game." But I'll be honest, as someone who used to play defense in football, I do like you. I admire a good defensive game. Admire good defensive plays. And at the end of the day, I thought yes, was the pace of the game boring? Yes, the pace of the game was boring in the first half.
Absolutely.
But great defensive showings. Great defensive showings. Even the Patriots even at halftime, like their defense was playing really well. Christian Gonzalez, number 0 on the Patriots, he played out of his freaking mind. If it wasn't for him, this would have been a blowout. This would have been a huge blowout.
Absolutely phenomenal performance. Last one for me. Would you eat the burger?
No.
That thing, like I can.
How do you tackle that? How do you tackle that?
I can barely, and my girlfriend can confirm this. I can barely eat a burger at like Applebee's. I don't know if you know what Applebee's is.
Yeah,
I can barely eat a burger at Applebee's. There is no way I am even getting halfway through this thing.
So I'll be honest, all that stuff is like, yeah, I don't want blue cheese fondue on my burger, or like what, like was it Marapex? I don't even know what that is. I don't even know.
I mean, it doesn't look that bad.
It doesn't look bad, but I just like that's first of all, I think it's huge. That thing is huge.
Yeah, are you really gonna eat that in your tiny ass seat?
Imagine if you go for a bite and it slips out of the buns.
Oh my god!
And the person in front of you is covered in blue cheese fondue.
And that is the exact reason why I never get those kind of things at sporting events. Even at restaurants, it's just like I eat one part and it just comes out the other. Stop! I'm like trying to eat this. Anyway, that's it for the Super Bowl. You got our little talk about burgers and halftime. There you go. Let's talk about the other stuff going on in the NHL since we last talked. Artemi Panarin to the LA Kings for Liam Greentree, a conditional 2026 third and a conditional 2028 fourth. The conditions on that pick, the third round pick is that it is the better of the LA or Dallas third. We'll upgrade to a second if LA wins a round. If they play the Oilers, forget about it. The 2028 fourth will be given to the Rangers if LA wins 2 rounds. So right now it is Liam Greentree and a third for 50% retained Artemi Panarin. What do we think?
I'm going to go from the Rangers side first, and I'm going to talk on the Kings side. So the Rangers side first is a lot of Rangers fans. Oh, they mad. They mad. Like,
rightfully so.
And rightfully so. Like I think we all said that a 35-year-old Artemi Panarin might not have as much value as we thought he would have, and it turns out that was correct. But yes. Liam Greentree. Now, Liam Greentree, I do want to say this. Liam Greentree in his draft year, fantastic stats, fantastic numbers. Draft year 1, great stats. This year, the numbers have dipped.
So, last year, he had 119 points in 64 games played. Was absolutely, like, cracked. Like, I remember, and you live with a Kings fan, so I'm sure you can confirm this. Like, he had that season. He was ranked up there in prospect rankings. Like, he was no joke. He was no joke. This year, he's on pace to have just 68 points. More goals and more assists, but that's on pace. Like, he might not even get close to 68. depending on what happens.
There was a player on Windsor last year, and he left for the NCAA this year. I'm blanking on his name right now, but he's a pretty notable player. He left, and all of a sudden the numbers dip. Sometimes this happens. The OHL has happened sometimes where a player will leave and the numbers dip.
Yeah, that player who has nearly a point per game, 37 points in 44 games played with the Hershey Bears, Ilya Protas. 124 points last year.
Yes, it was Ilya Protas. Yes, that's what I was thinking of.
Protas actually has almost 40 points in 44 games played. Wow, he's had a good year. Call him up, Washington. Come on. Anyway, Green Tree, I think, again, like, the numbers have dipped, but I think he's still a good prospect.
He's still a good prospect. He still has value. He's still going to be that probably second-line goal scorer.
That is incredibly underwhelming, though.
It is.
It's incredibly underwhelming. I don't even think you can really give them the benefit of the doubt that Panarin had the no movement clause and he was controlling everything. I understand that plays a factor, but I feel like you have seen guys who have had a no move clause get way more than this.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of feels like the Rangers, like, they just wanted to get rid of him. Like, they just wanted to have this done before the Olympic break.
And I think that's where their fault is. They want to get it done before the Olympic break deadline.
So I understand the fact that after the Olympic break, you have an 11-day window between then and the trade deadline. Like, it is a very short window, and I think we've said that before. But you don't have to just scramble now. Like, you don't have to do that. And the fact that he's at 50% retained makes it even worse. Like, he's retained, and all you got was Green Tree.
You have to retain, though. That's the thing. You have to retain on Panarin.
That is true. That is true. I will say that. But, like, I think I said in the group chat the day of him being traded, the day before he was traded, I think I said, like, we were overvaluing how much he was really worth and that he was going to get a solid prospect and probably a first-round pick. If that's the return, I'm coming on here with a completely different approach, and I'm saying, yeah, that's a solid return.
And Dylan before the deal was finalized, before the conditions were finalized, he said, "Oh, I think it's if the Kings win, get him extended, he will be turned to a first." Like, oh, okay, then that seems like a good return for the Rangers. And I'm like, excuse me, if they win a round, they get a second, and that second's going to be low. That's going to be a low ass second.
Yeah, that'll be a low second.
Just Chris Drury, like It's like, we're going to change everything, even though I caused this mess. I caused these issues. I think I'm going to ask this right now. I'm going to bring someone else into the fold here. Who deserves to be fired more? Chris Drury, Tom Fitzgerald.
Oh, it's a battle of ass.
Yeah, it's like, and I think I go with, I know Fitzgerald has done his fair share of damage as well, but I think Chris Drury has done far more damage.
We're gonna get to Tom Fitzgerald because there's a trade that I want to talk about that I think is just hilarious.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it goes from top to bottom. Why even start at Drury? You could even, I mean, again, like, you obviously can't fire James Dolan, but it starts with Dolan. Absolute just clown of an owner. I feel like he cares about the Knicks a little bit too much. Or a little bit too much more than the Rangers.
Yeah, Dolan was known for meddling in the Knicks for years. Yeah. And now the Knicks, all of a sudden he takes his paws off the Knicks. The Knicks suddenly become better. He starts putting his paws on the Rangers. Rangers are bad. So, in LeBlanc style, what did we learn?
Nothing.
we learned that James Dolan needs to keep his stubby fingerprints off. Yeah.
Let's remember when this was the year. So there's a couple things I want to go to. I'm not done with my conversation. There's a couple things I want to talk about. Do you remember back in 2021 when Tom Wilson did that thing to, I think it was Panarin, actually? That's the irony of this whole thing. He had a dirty hit on Panarin. He did that whole thing in the box.
Yeah.
And he got no discipline for it. Do you remember the statement the Rangers put out?
Yes.
That was from Dolan. That was not from Jeff Gordon. That was not from I forget who.
That was not from Chris Drury. That's not from Jeff Gordon. That wasn't from, at the time, it would have been Laviolette. So no, it wasn't from.
Yeah, that was from Dolan, and he was fined $250,000 for that. The other instance of him getting his hands dirty and kind of screwing with the Rangers, do you remember back in the 23-24 season when the Rangers were a really good team?
Yes.
Do you remember where the draft was in 2024?
No, it wasn't in Montreal. It was in
the Sphere in Vegas.
It wasn't the Sphere. That's right. Yes.
And do you remember that James Dolan specifically told the Rangers, hey, don't trade your first-round pick.
Yes, because James Dolan owns the Sphere.
Yes. So there's another instance of him interfering with the Rangers. And who knows? I mean, again, like, I don't really trust Chris Drury to do anything. But who knows? Back in 23-24, had they moved that first-round pick for some big player on the market, it could have been Rangers Oilers.
Oh, my God. Yes.
Like, it's another instance of Dolan just getting his hands in the Rangers business. When, again, like, you have owners who, again, I understand. Like, you have some owners who should be more hands-on. You also have some owners who should just sit back and let the team do their thing and only interfere if, let's just say, the team's ass or you're losing money.
Yeah.
This was an instance of that. You can also, again, look. You can look at Drury. You can look at Drury too. Like, this guy has literally torn this team apart. They have traded away all of the leadership. I don't think Rangers fans were very big on trading a 26-year-old K'Andre Miller. Trouba, I think
Rangers fans couldn't wait to get rid of Trouba. Like, I think we can.
I'll also say this though, with a guy like Kreider. Kreider was essentially banished to the fourth line, and banished from the team under Laviolette. Drury's like, all right, and then trades him. And then Kreider's having a great year with Anaheim. Like, these are not coincidences, people.
I'm just saying, all the Rangers greats, like not the greats, either they never leave willingly. They always, especially the captains, they always get dealt somewhere. Yeah, it's time and time again. I can go through a list of Rangers captains and tell you they got traded. Ryan Callahan.
Yeah.
Jacob Trouba.
Yep.
Who shot him before Trouba?
Oh, God, I don't even know. I can't think. No, it wasn't. No way it was Nash. Oh, my God, I have to look it up.
It was not Rick Nash. It was not Rick Nash. But Rick Nash is another Rangers great who got traded.
Captain before Trouba was Ryan McDonough. He was traded.
McDonough was traded. With JT Miller.
Yeah. Ryan Callahan.
Yep, traded.
He was also traded, I think, in the same trade. Wait, no.
No, he was a different trade. That was a different trade. But yes, they were all traded to Tampa, though.
And then before that was actually Chris Drury.
And Chris Drury was also traded.
Yeah. So I definitely see the point you're trying to get across.
Yeah, so the point is, like, all the Rangers greats, all the players that, like, actually fan favorites, they are traded because either it's not they don't want to be a Ranger anymore, it's because they don't fit and they don't want to adapt to the Ranger way. And the Ranger way, it's Ranger way or the highway. And if you don't follow the Ranger way, you might as well just sit at JFK.
Hey, yep. Yeah. I definitely see that as well. Yeah, I mean, again, like, I'm gonna ask you this question, and I know what your answer is gonna be.
Yeah, one more thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
Real quick. And the funny thing about this whole thing is that Panarin wanted to stay.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
Panarin, like, they sat down with him, and Panarin's like, I want to sign extension. They're just like, I don't know about that.
I get why they didn't want to, but
I get why, but at the same time, like, the players who want to stay, they're like, nah, get out.
Yeah, that is a.
Like I said, it's the Ranger way.
Yeah.
Put that on a t-shirt. Put that on a t-shirt.
Ranger way. I'll ask you this question, and I know what your answer is going to be. Do you trust Chris Drury in running this team through this retool?
Oh, hell no. Like, I mean.
Like, I feel like they might need to just clean house and start from scratch.
I'm going to tell you this right now. The Rangers, right now, they're a disaster on the ice. But you know what's even a bigger disaster? How they develop their young players.
That is true. I do have a quote here from their legendary captain, who probably will be traded soon. JT Miller talking about his time with the Rangers, and he was asked by the media what he would do, what his message to the team was. I don't know if you saw this. You may have seen the quote, but we're going to play it here for you guys. Credit to Rangers videos. I believe that's like they work for MSG or whatever. But here is the JT Miller quote, what he was asked.
I know it's still fresh, I should say, but just what is the message to your team now going into the break as you look to reboot?
I don't know. We got to come back with a better mindset. Hasn't been good enough the last little while, so let's try to regroup, freshen up, and.
So here, I'm not even going to play the rest. Here is my problem with this. So many people said under the comments of this video or the other videos and said that, like, oh, the media is being too harsh. That is literally one of the most simple questions you can ask. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. This reporter, and I don't know who she is. Maybe it was Molly Walker or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. But this reporter, in a very calm way, asked a simple question that a captain should answer.
Yes,
and I think anything short of like again, you can say the media is too harsh. I get it. The Rangers media is all this and that. You're a captain. It's not like she asked a question of, oh, how does a rocket launch to space? It's not rocket science. Saying I don't know.
Saying I don't know. You are the captain of his hockey club, and your first and like, what's the rest of the team? I don't know. Like, yeah. I think I've said my piece about JT Miller multiple times on here, but JT Miller may have been the worst decision to make captain of a hockey team.
I 100% agree. I mean, like, again, like, I think there are over 700 players in the NHL right now. I would pick a guy in the ECHL to lead my team over JT Miller.
Like,
I'm not even gonna lie to you.
We heard of the issues in Vancouver. The issues of Vancouver seem to have followed JT Miller where he's gonna go, and like, just I'm gonna say actually right now, who is last in the Western Conference right now?
I believe Vancouver, right?
Yes, and they have no captain right now.
That's true.
But I feel like the most tenured player, I would say probably Tyler Myers. I think Tyler Myers would be saying, I don't know. What's the message to the team going forward?
Yeah, I mean, like, again, like, I think even if you ask, like, people always say bad things about Austin Matthews and how he's not a great captain and all this and that. Matthews would have given
something better than that.
Like, I think, again, like, even if you take out the I don't know part, I think this is actually not a horrible answer. If you just say we got to go into the next half with a better mindset.
Maybe you just misspoke. Like, I get if you misspoke, but also, like, saying your first answer should not be I don't know.
Yeah.
At least it's better than what Jack Hughes said.
Yeah, what about Jack Hughes with the message to the fans that don't believe in him? He's like, I got nothing to say to him and all that. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't care. I got nothing to say to him. Like basically, that's equivalent of just doing this.
Pretty much. We should talk about the Kings side with this Panarin trade. We went into a whole Rangers rabbit hole.
We always do.
LA, I feel like they're going into this. By the way, they signed Panarin to a 2-year, $11 million deal. I never say this often, especially about a guy like Ken Holland. This is a slam dunk move for a guy like Holland and the Kings.
Here's the thing. One side of me says, good trade. The other side of me says, what are we doing? Because I can give it like this. Panarin is an excellent player. Got him on an extension. That's great. Is this Kings team Artemi Panarin away from contending for the Stanley Cup?
I understand that sentiment, and I totally understand what you're saying. But I also need to just say to you, like, they're buying in here on Kopitar's last year, and I think that, like, again, like, I do agree with you that they're really not a Panarin away, but I commend them for going all in a way.
I mean, if they got Panarin for cheap, you might as well just go all in.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is, like, I really don't know, like, if you can really put it any other way. Like, this is a great move. You're not giving up a ton. Green Tree, I think, will be a good prospect, but who knows?
But you can draft another Liam Greentree type player.
His value as well right now is also low in my eyes. It's not like
it's lower than it was last year. Yes, so you got great value on a low tier on a guy whose value was dipping. Yeah, I don't know if I'm LA and I see this. I got this great player on an extension for the next 2 years. I might as well just go all in at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I believe they have their first round pick. I believe they have some assets they can move.
Yes.
Go for it. Honestly, go all in and go for this last year with Kopitar. You have all your first round picks. You have 2 second round picks. You gotta go. You gotta at least try a little bit more. Get somebody else. Pick somebody else. We talk a lot about the Kings and how they've mismanaged a lot of their guys. I've been waiting for Quinton Byfield to have this breakout year. I fear it's not coming. He's had a lot of poor coaches during his tenure who I think have mismanaged him. Maybe he's just not as good as we thought he was going to be. I also think, too, we've had this thing as well, Jim Hiller is a horrible coach. He should be fired immediately, but there was also a not great GM at the helm who did make a good trade. Again, I'll commend Holland for that, but he's also at the helm of a not-so-good coach.
This is – I don't want to – it's not the exact same situation, but it seems oddly similar to some of those late 2010, early 2010 Detroit Red Wing teams where the team is just old and they're trying everything to get into the playoffs.
I see what you're saying. It's like, oh, get them in the playoffs, continue the streak. And that's why they were first round exits for. I wish Tim was here to talk about this. By the way, Tim could not join us today, if you couldn't tell. I wish Tim was here to talk about this because he would say it perfectly. They were just get to the playoffs, continue the streak, and they were just first round exits for I believe 5.
The funny thing is they were. I think their last playoff win was 2013 against Anaheim when they were the 7th seed.
Were they really swept every time since then?
No, because they lost in Game 7 to Tampa.
Really? Okay.
And then
series win. Sorry, I thought you said playoff win altogether. Series win.
No, series win. Yeah, the last series win was against Anaheim.
Yeah. I was like, really? They got swept for 5
Their last series win, they were in the Western Conference.
Yeah, that actually is kind of crazy. I mean, you can also amp it up to the fact that the last time they played a playoff game was in the Joe. But anyway, we're going off topic. I see the sentiment there with the Kings. I think right now, today, it's a good trade. I respect them buying all in a Kopitar. They're respecting the legacy and all that. And I think for the LA Kings, it is a good transition into something we're going to do. Actually, we'll do it now. It's a good transition to going into something we're going to do now. This game is called Make It or Break It. We're going to talk about all of the teams. Some of them are above the playoff line. Some of them are below the playoff line. You are going to tell me either in 2-word answers of whether you just say make it or break it, or you're going to give me a longer form answer. Maybe you can think about it a little bit. We're going to go through pretty much every team below the playoff line and someone above the playoff line in the Eastern and Western Conference and talk about whether or not they should try and make it or they should try and break it. Here are break it.
Like sell.
You get what I mean? So the other thing is too, is if you think a team should do nothing, that's the make it territory.
Okay.
Break it is just purely sell.
Gotcha.
You can elaborate more on that if there's other teams you want to talk about. All right. We'll start out in the Western Conference because the Eastern Conference is going to be a whole discussion, and the LA Kings are in the Western Conference. It props that discussion. These first couple teams should be easy. Vancouver.
Break it.
You try and break as much as you can. I don't really know how much there is to break. I think it's broken already. But you trade as much guys as you can right now if there's available guys to be dealt. St. Louis has already started the process.
Yeah, that's break it. And I think St. Louis, I don't think they should break it until it's unusable. But they should, but they should be I still believe in St. Louis a little bit. I think they should conservatively break it.
They can't score, man. They are an awful.
Which is crazy. Which is crazy to me because like Cairo is a known fucking goal scorer.
Robert Thomas too, great scorer. Their leading guy, I think, is like 35 points. It's bad.
That is bad.
Really bad. Calgary.
I think it's already broken, but break it.
Yeah, I think you're already breaking it. You traded Rasmus Anderson. I've heard Coleman and Kadri's name out there. I think they really want to go all in for a.
I've heard Uyghur's name out there too, like quite a bit.
Yeah, I've heard Uyghur's name as well. The Winnipeg Jets.
There's nothing to break. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's the issue. I think like their only guys like Luke Shen,
Logan Stanley, maybe.
if they flip Stanley for assets, I'm gonna lose my mind. But yeah, I mean, like I see the point you're getting across. I totally agree with you. It's not ideal. The Chicago Blackhawks.
Break it. There's just sell off the UFAs. There's not really much to break.
I think you break it, but you just break off a couple pieces.
I know the only player who I think could like be a value, maybe a Connor Murphy could be a value on, could be a third pairing on a playoff team.
I've heard Murphy's name out there. I heard they may want to move Jason Dickinson. And honestly, like you don't move a.
There's not a lot to move. There's not a lot to move. But you know who you should have broke last year, Ryan Donato. But we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, I agree with you, but they decided not to. Whatever. San Jose Sharks. I think they already showed they want to make it.
Make it.
They're 5 points back at the break, though, but they do have games in hand.
Okay.
On every team above them, like every single team. It's just, but again, we'll have to see obviously what happens there. But I think they try and make it, and the fact that they won't buy in that much. I'm glad they didn't trade for Panarin. That would have been a horrible move, in my opinion. Nashville Predators.
Break it. It's broken. I mean, I guess they're like not that far out of the playoff spots, but like,
I hope whoever is hired, decides to look at that team and says, "Let's trade Stamkos. Let's trade O'Reilly.
Let's just start."
If they could trade Stamkos and O'Reilly, they could get a mountain of assets.
Let's just burn down the roster and start over.
The other problem is too is like I think I heard you say Saros. With Jose Saros, it's like his value is kind of low right now.
I don't think I said Saros.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Saros when I started saying the other.
No, I said let's new GM comes in. Let's burn down the roster and start over.
Ah, okay, that's what you said. All right, I'm just hearing things. Los Angeles Kings. They already said they're making it.
They're make it team.
So there you go. Now we get into the teams that are above the playoff line, who are kind of like on the line a little bit. Anaheim Ducks.
I'm gonna say make it, but I think they're gonna stand pat.
Yeah, I think you may. I agree. I think you make it in the sense of like you don't give up a mountain of assets. If there's a move that you see that will help your team, but it's not a move that will also give up a ton of assets, because you got to be very careful with a team like Anaheim. They could go from this to bad next year. You really never.
Yeah, and like there's
with young teams.
You don't want to make a move to make a move. You know what I mean? You want to make a move that's going to benefit you in the long run or in the short term if you're a rental team. But Anaheim's not a rental team right now.
Do you say the same thing about the Mammoth, who are above them by 1 point?
The Mammoth should. I think the Mammoth are going to buy.
We'll see what they do.
I think Bill Armstrong might be feeling a little bit of the heat.
I think they're in a position, like they've had a really good month of January, but they got to be better for sure.
Yeah.
They're like pretty much right there. They've just had like the really low points. I'm going to say two teams. One of them should be a pretty obvious answer, but they're like right there with the wild card teams. Third place in the Pacific, the Seattle Kraken.
So what they're going to do, they're going to make it. What they should do is break it.
I think they should I don't even honestly they might just do nothing. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, they should. I think they should be selling, but they're in a playoff spot.
It's hard to sell that on your fans.
But they're also in the Pacific Division that is Garbo. Like it's
Yeah, by the way, they're tied with Anaheim. So if, let's say, Seattle has the tiebreaker on the Ducks, which I believe is regulation wins, again, like, had things been differently, they'd be in the second wild card spot. We would probably have a very different opinion on them if they were just on the playoff, just above the playoff line.
Mm-hmm.
But they're in a divisional spot right now, technically. And then, obviously, I know what the answer is going to be, but the Edmonton Oilers.
Make it.
The Oilers, like, the weird thing is, like, they don't necessarily look like the Oilers. It's really weird.
Yeah, like we said it last year, though, and they still went to the final.
That is true. That is true. They'll probably make the final again this year. They might not have to deal with Florida. All right. Here's where the discussion gets tough. The Eastern Conference. We're going to go over, like, a pretty large amount of teams here. I would say there's only maybe, like, 2 or 3 teams that, like, are, like, you look at them and you're like, they are making the playoffs. The rest, kind of in the air right now. So It's going to be a fun little discussion. First one should be easy. The New York Rangers.
Break it until you can't use it anymore. Like, it's...
Yeah, you break it so hard, you break the GM. That's what you do. Yeah. You break the GM. The New Jersey Devils.
Break it. Even though they made a fucking move for Nick Bjugstad, what are we doing?
Oh, Nick Bjugstad. Oh my God.
Hear me out. The Devils are gonna fall at the deadline day. They're gonna fall out a little lower to the playoff. They're like, you know what? Let's flip Nick Bjugstad real quick.
I could see that happening. To be fair, they didn't give up a lot of assets for him, but this is still a trade where it's like a real head scratcher. I remember when we were hearing about this Olympic trade deadline or whatever, like this unofficial trade deadline, and we heard that move, and I was like, I think I commented in the group chat, I'm like, oh my God, blockbuster move for Fitzgerald. This changes everybody's opinion on him. Yeah, no, that team is just, they should break it. I can't believe again, you're going to do your little party because you predicted this, but like, I kind of can't believe it's been this bad with how they've played.
Where are my flowers? I was crucified. I was crucified for that day.
You were pretty much kind of like crucified a bit there for that. I will give you that. Here's a really difficult one. The Florida Panthers. So let me speak first. I think just because on paper you have a phenomenal team, I think you still try to make it. But
yeah, I was gonna say make it because there's no shot in hell they're gonna sell.
No, there's no way. Who can they even sell? Is my question. Who are they even going to be able to sell?
Exactly.
I don't even know who's expiring, to be honest. Besides Bobrovsky, and I did ask that question. I think privately, I was like, could they move on from Bobrovsky? Well, that's probably their best agent right now.
I'll be honest. I think this might be Bob's last year in Florida because I don't like. He might go back to Russia.
Here's the thing you said to me though: if he's out there as a free agent, like who else do you pick up if you're Florida?
Yeah, that's the only thing because it's almost like AFC. If you had a guy in, who drafted a first round goalie, a couple years ago, and he was ready for the spotlight.
Yeah, we did talk about. It's kind of funny how that's kind of like
bit them in the ass a little bit. Because the Spencer Knights in Florida, like maybe Florida's in a playoff spot.
I will say this: they do have injuries, obviously, but every team has injuries. It does feel like they're dropping like flies. They're a very, very interesting team.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, though, is like if you are the Panthers, you really can't sell anything. There's really nobody expiring. I mean, like their best free agent might be Bobrovsky.
But hear me out. Maybe here's the thing: Florida's not gonna have another first round pick because this pick is now all of a sudden it's top 10 protected.
Yeah, thank you.
All of a sudden.
Thank you for reporting on things a year later, Frank. Thank you.
Maybe Florida's like, you know what? Maybe let's just get that pick because we're not gonna have another first round pick until like 2029.
2028.
2028? Okay. Because I thought 2028 goes to Philly.
No, that was 24, I think, or 25.
Oh, okay.
Talking about the Jersey trade. That was 24.
Yes.
That was a little ways away, or a little ways ago. But like, I get what you mean. So the pick they have this year, it is conditional top 10 for Chicago. The other pick is the pick they gave to Boston for Marchand. If Florida does not have, so let's say Florida finishes in the top 10 this year, and they end up drafting somebody really good. I will burn down this. I will burn down Florida. I will burn down. I will lose my mind. But anyway, like let's say they do that. That 2026-7 pick will go to Chicago. Then that 2028 pick will go to Boston.
So 2020, I was right. 2029. If they keep this pick,
yeah. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think Florida will finish bottom 10. I think they're gonna make it.
The East is a freaking gauntlet, dude.
It is. I'm not gonna deny that. I wasn't saying that it's impossible. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Okay.
But yeah, Florida. I think they just make it, but it's also like you don't make it in the way where you just buy. You don't do that. The Philadelphia Flyers, who are tied with Florida.
I think it's break it time.
Yep, I'm going for break it again. I mean, again, like they're a really hard team for me. I think they've made some moves that have been really rough. I think this fan base has already turned on Rick Tocchet,
which is insane. It hasn't even been 6 months.
I'm kind of there too. I'm not gonna lie, but it's also at the same time like he has kind of made the team turn on him. It's justified. Anyway, but yeah, you break it. You try and trade off guys you can. You might I even speculated you just move on from Zegras. I talked about that a little bit. I don't know if you probably don't go down.
I remember that. Yep.
But
how about that?
Like again,
that take is that's a horrible take too.
What the Zegras take? You move on from him. I wasn't really serious.
I mean, it's a like break out the tinfoil hat take. Like,
yeah, I know. You could get a haul for him. I will say that.
Could.
But that was I wasn't being legitimate when I was saying that.
Yeah.
You know what you could have done though? I think Christian Dvorak's had a good enough year where if it is a seller's market, you could have got another.
You could have got a good package for Dvorak.
But no, let's sign him to a 5-year contract. And then not only that, let's just say, fuck all of our prospects and Luchenko and Nesbitt. You're never developing into anything. We got Dvorak as our 1C. Fuck off. Anyway, if you couldn't tell, I'm a Flyers fan. Toronto Maple Leafs.
It's time. They're getting prepared to break it.
It is. I think, again, it's a matter of can they break it the right way. I mean, again, we talked about how like Bobby McMahon may not be worth all this and that, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson and all that. Hopefully, and again, like I even look at Toronto in a way that like you could, in a way, recuperate your assets back from the mistakes you made in last year's trade deadline with Boston and Philadelphia.
You could definitely. My counterpoint: Brad Treliving.
It's like pros. You have you could trade McMahon, you could do this, you could do that. Cons. Brad Treliving.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's been a lot of talk in Leaf fandom that they haven't had a trade in 200 days. Or that's probably like 210 at this point now.
Yeah.
Yeah. They need to do something. And firing the assistant coach is not enough.
Temporary solutions.
Yeah, it's temporary solutions. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot. Next up, tied with Toronto, and I know, and we're gonna have a discussion here. The Ottawa Senators.
So I'm gonna make my points, and I'm gonna tell you why it's happening.
What is it?
Make it. The Ottawa Senators. Steve Stamkos apparently is being very aggressive on the trade market. Though he doesn't want to trade anything that's worth anything to anybody. That's the only thing. Apparently, he's trying to get to. He's doing this kind of like. Says they're 6 points out. Their underlying numbers are fantastic. They cannot buy a save to save their life. They're gonna buy. That's what I'm being fed information that they will be buying. Will it be a big buy? Will it be a small buy? I have no idea. But they are going to get somebody.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you. Like, is it going to be a massive buy, or is it going to be some kind of
What
like?
I know right now is that the only untouchable assets are, of course, the core. The core is untouchable, and only prospects that are untouchable are Hensler and Yakimchuk.
I think you still even try to trade Hensler. I'm not going to lie.
I would
anyway,
I would move. I like Hensler. I would move Hensler though. I would not if they move Yakimchuk. I'd be so pissed.
I think you would be okay with it. I think you would be okay with it if it was for the right
player.
Right player. Like, let's say, for example, you make this trade and you get like a Mackenzie Weegar back. Like, would you make that move?
Move who? Yakimchuk for Weegar? No.
Would you do that? Oh, okay. All right. I don't know.
I would move Hensler for Weegar.
Okay. Anyway, I think for Ottawa is like, you might as well try and make it. And even if that make it means just stay pat, I think that's fine as well.
Also, Ottawa doesn't have their first round pick. They have nothing to lose.
Yeah. I love bringing that up. They don't have their first round pick. Thanks, Gary. But anyway, that's also the sentiment, though. They really don't have much to lose in the sense that you look at Ottawa, like if they even do try to sell, like let's say they're in the Maple Leafs position, and it's funny because they have the same amount of points as Toronto. They're right there with the Maple Leafs. They have just one less win than Toronto. It's just like if they were in the same position as Toronto, like they wouldn't have much to sell generally. Toronto has guys to move. Ottawa doesn't really have anybody that's worth a ton. Without giving up somebody who is like on a long-term deal that expires after this season. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. You need to give something up to get something. And the thing about Ottawa is that Ottawa likes to they like guys with term. They don't like to go for the expiring deals because we all know Ottawa's a small market. Some players don't want to play in a small market.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get that. Now we get into the teams who are 4 points back of a wild card spot. They're also 4 points back of a divisional spot as well, both Metro teams. The Washington Capitals. They were in on Panarin, supposedly.
They were. I'm going to say
I think you make it in the sense where like you don't do a lot. I think for Washington, they're actually in, and again, they're actually not in that bad of a spot in the sense that they have young guys coming up. Honestly, if they decide, hey, let's just maybe stay pat, even if they do break it, maybe you break off a tiny piece, and you decide last year, not a fluke, but definitely was a little bit of an overperforming year.
Yeah.
You decide, let's trade away a Brandon Duhaime. Let's trade away a Sonny Milano. Let's trade away a TVR.
They would need to be, I feel right now, the Capitals would have to be significantly out of the race for them to consider that.
I get that.
Like, they're in the Metro. Their path is easier.
That is true. I'll also say this, though. Like you do have the potential, like if you decide, hey, let's just drop down lower in the standings and let's try and get another high pick. If they get another high pick, you're looking at a pretty darn good future for Washington. Yeah. I think Washington's in one of those spots right now where it's like, you obviously want to make the playoffs, but again, like if they don't, it's not like everything's falling apart. I get like, yeah, they don't.
Not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world is the point I'm trying to get across. How about Columbus? Heater as of right now.
I'm going to say make it only because I think they stand pat.
Yeah, I think if Columbus
they made their move. They got Mason Marchment.
Yeah, I think if Columbus decides to buy, I think it'd be absolutely bonkers.
Asinine.
Yeah. Unless if the move is like long term better, obviously. Now we go into the teams that are above the playoff line, starting with the wild card spots. Boston. I know your opinion on Boston, but
make it because like I don't think they buy though. That's my only thing.
They shouldn't.
But
they shouldn't, but they could. They shouldn't, but they could.
They could use their own first round pick because they have Toronto's first round pick.
And Florida's the following year, possibly.
Yeah, so they could do something big if they wanted to.
Yeah. But you also have to ask yourself, is it worth it?
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Sweeney has been known for making big moves time to time. Rarely, though. He's not a guy who makes...
He's not known for the big trade.
He will, but it's not something he always does.
Yeah.
Buffalo. I think you just stay pat.
Stand pat. So does I'll say make it just because they're going to stand pat.
Yeah, I don't know if I would agree with them buying, unless if the buy is like a legitimate.
You should have done make it, break it, stand pat. You should have done make it.
Fair enough. But I like just saying make it or break it. I think that's like on the end of the game. The New York Islanders, who are tied with Boston in points, by the way, just because they are in the Metro.
Apparently, Matthew Darche is going to buy, so make it.
Okay. I mean, like that has been a rumor that we heard. I don't know how much you buy, but go for it. The Pittsburgh Penguins.
They should sell, but they're not gonna. They'll be standing pat.
They'll make it pat. But like here's my thing with Pittsburgh. They're gonna get so mad at me for this, Penguins fans, but I really compare them to the Flyers in some ways, like back in 23-24. Where they're having kind of an overperforming year. Their goaltending's been great.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I could see a world where they just fall out.
Yeah. Oh no, here come the death threats.
Yeah, here come the death threats.
You're comparing us to the Flyers. Like I
know.
But,
I know.
I do agree with you though. Like the 2 years ago, the Flyers had that great year where they almost made the playoffs, and then they kind of like faltered out of the race at the very end.
That was the year where it started the hell that we live in today, in Philadelphia. The hell that we've been living in.
It also reminds me of Calgary last year.
Yeah, Calgary as well. I mean, right now they're above the playoff line. They're actually pretty firmly above the playoff line, but so was Philadelphia around this time.
But their division's also bad, so it's like...
Yeah. So, like, that's what I've always been saying. Like, you are a winning streak or a losing streak away from being in a playoff spot or out of a playoff spot. Last two teams, they are 7 points above the playoff line. They're right there with a couple other teams, but we are going to bring them up. Detroit, the Red Wings.
Make it. The Red Wings are going to buy. They're ready to buy.
Yeah, and then Montreal.
They'll be buying as well. Make it.
Yep, those are the two obvious teams, but they're actually right there with some of the other teams.
Which is
the only
freaking insane.
Yeah, it is kind of insane. The only teams that I did not mention that are firmly in spots, and I can confidently say they're making the playoffs. The Lightning, the Hurricanes, the Avalanche, the Wild, the Stars, and the Golden Knights. I'm confident the Oilers will make it too, but they're right there with the other teams I had to mention them in terms of points. So there you go. That is our game of make it or break it. We're coming up on an hour here, so a couple more things before we wrap up. We should talk about Gavin McKenna and the current situation that is going on here with him and Penn State and all that. So McKenna was facing a felony charge of aggravated assault after an incident on January 31st. McKenna allegedly assaulted an individual and broke their jaw. There's a report out there that he was defending his mother from like a heckler or whatever, whatever you want to call it. He was not bothering the McKenna family, even when they were trying to de-escalate the situation and walk away. So McKenna gave him a simple bow to the face.
Give him a little two-piece.
Yeah, a little two-piece chicken sandwich there. Anyway,
Dude,
that was bad. That was a bad
the
was a bad
2-piece
analogy.
combo. The 2-piece
Yeah,
combo.
two-piece combo. That was a better way to say it. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened, or at least it's what we know. After they did get video evidence and saw it, they dropped the felony charge, which if he had that felony charge, he would be facing up to 20 years. Upon further review, he did not act with the intent to cause serious bodily harm, nor did he recklessly act with extreme indifference to the value of human life. I think what he did is like he went like bow bow. Like sometimes you see that a lot of movies. Like you'll do like a quick 2-punch, you'll knock a guy out or whatever. You'll hurt him. Let's say hypothetically, and I think again that's what happened. But let's say hypothetically, McKenna punches him in the face twice. Guy goes down. McKenna gets down and starts beating him even more. Then
he gave him the 2 shots and he walked away. So you can't really. I assume that's what happened. I don't have footage. I wasn't there either, so I assume that's what happened.
Obviously, you weren't there. But yeah, again, like it was obviously
like he does. But if he kept like punching him while he's on the ground, then he would. Then I say go ahead, charge him. Give him the felony.
Yeah. According to court records, McKenna is still facing a misdemeanor charge of simple assault as well as harassment and disorderly conduct. Offenses for harassment and disorderly conduct.
Yeah, I think the harassment charge will get dropped. I think the other 2 will stick though.
I think they'll. I'm not gonna lie to you. And this isn't my Penn State bias, by the way. I think this will probably just be like a slap on the wrist kind of thing.
Yeah, probably just community service. He might get. I'll be honest. I don't know. He might get suspended by the NCAA for a game or 2.
He could. I think again, like this is one of those situations where it's like what he did was wrong, but I understand the context as to why he did it.
Yes, but
there's a couple situations like that.
But you also need to be aware of like who you are and what you have. Like you know who you are. You know what your situation is. Why would you put yourself in jeopardy like that?
Yeah, like if I did it per se, like if I was defending my mother or whatever, I don't think many people would like bat an eye. Like I mean, yeah, like I have a platform and all that. I think a lot of people would commend me for the most part because that's what I've seen from Gavin McKenna and all that. Whatever. But you're Gavin freaking McKenna, dude. Yeah. Like you're like the top. You've been the top prospect for like 3 years for this draft, at least 3 years. I get why he did it. I kind of respect him in a way because I don't know how you would be. I think I would do not the same thing, but I would definitely defend my mother in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also like a lot older. I'm not a teenager anymore, so
that's true. That is true.
But when I was a teenager, maybe I would have done what Gavin McKenna did.
You're a much more wise man. I will say that you're Mr. Wise Guy, right?
Wise guy.
But yeah, I mean, again, like I understand what he did. I get what he did. I don't commend it. It was wrong. Bar none, it was wrong. I think again, like I will say this: you do say things here sometimes on this podcast. You say play stupid games, win stupid prizes, and that's what this guy who was heckling his family did.
Yeah, win stupid play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Like you know who Gavin McKenna is. Like also the dude who his name got released, his photo got released. He's since deactivated all of his social media accounts.
He actually doesn't live that far away from me, which is crazy. Like this is like this whole situation.
I don't know where he lives.
Well, because his like school was going around, and like his school is not far away from me. Like his high school is not. Okay. I live 3 hours from Penn State, by the way. I don't know anybody didn't know. But his school, like his high school that he went to, like my high school played his hockey team in the playoffs. Like that's how close it is. It's interesting, but like again, like it feels really weird how local this all is to me. To be honest with you. Anyway, 2 more things. Caleb Jones of the Pittsburgh Penguins was suspended for 20 games without pay for violating the NHLPA performance enhancing substance program. Again, Jones released a statement saying that he was sorry to his teammates and all that. Jones has not even played since like October. He was dealing with an injury. And now he's not going to play until probably like April, if that.
He's with the Penguins, right?
He is.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time he was in the lineup.
Yeah, I did. So when I did the Penguins Ottawa stream, I read the status report all the time and like on the NHL.com. It said that he hasn't played since like late October or either that or early November. I can't remember which one it was, but he hasn't played for a while and now he's not going to play till towards the end of the year. He is the brother of Seth Jones, by the way.
Okay.
I should mention that. Interesting situation going on there with him. Last thing. This is not sports related. By the way, pitchers and catchers next week. First spring training game, Phillies and Blue Jays, February 21st.
Blue Jays.
How we doing? Anyway, that is coming up here as well, obviously. There was a report from Yahoo Sports that the NBA Board of Governors is likely to vote this summer on expanding the league by 2 teams. And we can connect this to the NHL as well. Las Vegas and Seattle are considered the favorite cities in the NBA. I want to talk about the NBA first, and then we can kind of go like broad with this. We can talk about all 4 pro sports,
sure,
but I want to talk about specifically the NBA with this. What are your thoughts on expansion in the NBA?
I think it's long overdue. I'll be honest. NBA. Sorry, what?
How many teams are in the NBA? 32?
30 right now.
Okay, so then, yeah.
I think it's long overdue. I think a team. I one of the favorites of Seattle for a reason. I've been to Seattle. Seattle's a basketball city. They love their Sonics. There's so many murals around the city. There's so many, like, they had their team ripped away from them.
Yeah, they had the Supersonics, and then that team was taken away.
The Climate Pledge Arena was originally made to accommodate basketball.
It was.
So they got the hockey and like, oh, well, now we're a hockey city.
And I think they've adapted to that well. They are a hockey city as well.
But they're basketball city. And I feel like Seattle, like if they're good at any schedule talks, Seattle has to get their team. And if they don't, I feel like that'd be a big outrage.
I 100% agree with you. It is very much definitely so well overdue when you're looking at the NBA and their expansion. Seattle makes a lot of sense. They had a previous team. Vegas, like people don't like Vegas. I saw somebody who said like Pittsburgh should get a team. Vegas makes sense because there's a lot of money to be made there.
There is, and the NBA was actually one of the first sports. They used to have their All-Star games in Vegas.
They did.
Before
don't they have the what's the mid-season tournament there? Didn't they have that there this year?
The NBA Cup?
Yeah, or is that the Summer League? They have
summer leagues in Vegas.
Okay. Yeah, so it all connects.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
It all connects, but I feel like Vegas for me doesn't feel like if we go this, Vegas would be a 4-sport city. Which is crazy to me because about 10 years ago they were a no sports city.
Hey, who went there first?
And that's why hockey went there first, so they could establish ground there.
One of the few things they did right. It's just like one of the few things the NHL like slam dunked.
Slam dunked, but at the time when it was announced, it wasn't a slam dunk. It was a...
That's true. That's true.
Affection Up Heroes was considered a big mistake.
Yeah, because everybody wanted Quebec.
Yes. But see, if you look at, I want to say the NBA. If you look at their cities that they have teams, they have such a weird spread of like where their teams are.
I can pull up a map.
Like they have teams that don't have any other sports in their cities.
I think that's sometimes
it's
can
smart, though.
Yes. So I'll pull up a map here in a second. Trying to.
Like I'm gonna just say some of the teams like Orlando, Portland, Sacramento. Those are like 3 of the teams that stick out. It used to be Utah. Used to be the only NBA sports franchise in Utah.
Yeah. So here's a map. They have Oregon with the Trailblazers. That's a whole new. That's a place with no other team besides like what the Portland Seahawks. Isn't that the
Portland Winterhawks? Winterhawks.
Seahawks. I'm messing up with Seattle. You also have Utah there for a long time.
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City as well. They just won the championship.
Yeah. Sacramento's there. Memphis.
New Orleans. Well, New Orleans is the Saints.
New Orleans has the Saints. But yeah, Memphis, Orlando
as well.
And then you have the East, which is mostly like they just go to the big cities in the East. But
yeah, Charlotte as well.
Charlotte's got the Panthers as well.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's smart though. Again, like going back to our NFL conversation, we talked about how like they're trying to grow their market in other places. Why not go to untapped areas? Again, sometimes that can work, sometimes it can't, but it's mostly worked in the NBA. Like they've gone to Vancouver, they were in Seattle.
They were in Vancouver too. Yeah, and I feel like I would love to see Vancouver get a team, but if Seattle comes in, I think Vancouver's dead.
Yeah, Vancouver's dead.
Because they could if Seattle and Vancouver are not far apart from each other at all.
Yeah, well, no, they're not. Definitely. Let's talk about the other leagues. MLB, they're going to get 2 more teams eventually.
I feel like MLB. I think for one thing, if we're talking about MLB expansion, Nashville's getting a team. There's there's no doubt in my mind. Nashville's getting a team.
Lock.
I feel the next team should be. I think they should expand by 4 teams. And I know this is going to get out of whack, but I feel like the cities that I would consider for expansion are Nashville. We already said lock. Go to Charlotte. Get a team in the Carolinas. Carolinas, like baseball, crazy out there.
A lot of minor league teams down there.
I feel like you need to go to out west. Let's go to Utah. You know,
I don't hate that.
Utah, and then I would love to see Oakland. Then go back to Oakland if Oakland had a situation where they can get another baseball field. But it's unlikely. So I'm gonna say go back to Montreal.
That's where I was gonna go if you weren't gonna say it. I don't know if it happens within the next 10 years or next 20 years. I have a feeling they're gonna go back.
Yeah, and here's the thing. My mom's from Montreal, so she grew up going to Expos games. If the Expos ever came back, I wouldn't change my allegiance. I'd still be a Blue Jays fan. But it'd be cool to see them back, though, for sure.
You would have a soft place in your heart for them.
Yeah, and then I can go see games.
Exactly.
It's not that it's closer than it is to Toronto to go see a baseball game.
Probably be extremely pricey as well.
Yes,
but yeah, 4 teams. I see the sentiment. NFL could just do whatever.
If the NFL expands, they're going to have to do it by 8 teams and I'm going to say because you want the divisions to be equal.
Bro, 8 more teams? That'd be nuts. I think it could work, though.
You could do... Now, let's use hypothetically 8 cities that could use an NFL team. I can name you a couple.
What if you cross the border? What if you go up north?
That's the one thing. That's the one I'm very adamant about. That the NFL will always be an American sport, and it will never. The only thing I could see is like I always pitched this idea when I was like younger, but you know who has 8 teams? The CFL.
The CFL. What are they? That's exactly what I was thinking. What if they just buy the CFL and just make that?
It'd be a huge outrage up here because I'm not a huge CFL person, but the people who are CFL and they're diehard about Lego. It's the rules are vastly different. They're vastly different.
You've been to CFL games before.
I have. I've been to multiple CFL games in my lifetime. It's cool.
Yeah. Sorry, I was about to ask that. What would you say like the competitive level is compared to the NFL?
I would say I would put it as like the ECHL or the AHL.
Okay. Level to the
probably the AHL. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't the CFL's also on at like a different time too, right? Like it's not aligned exactly with
the CFL starts in June and it ends in November.
Yeah, that's what I thought because the Grey Cup was in November, so
yes.
like it's a different timeline.
The games are a lot longer.
Yeah.
The season's a lot longer, not the games are long. The games are the same amount of time. They've recently changed some of the rules to make it more American friendly. I would say they took out the rouge, which is the 1 point you get for a touchback.
Yeah, I get what they're trying to do there. They're trying
Yeah.
to appeal.
But I'm just gonna rifle off a few cities here for NFL. You got it, and it's probably just going back to cities you should never left. San Diego.
Uh-huh.
If they could get a place to play, bring back Oakland. It wouldn't be the same though because they don't have the Raiders name.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm just trying to think of like it's hard because the NFL. You need to go to like big markets.
You do.
And thinking about Utah is that Utah on Sunday it's Mormon country. Sunday's the Sabbath.
There's that also.
I would like to see a team in San Antonio or Austin, Texas. I think that'd be cool. It's a place that's hasn't had much sports coverage. Oh, San Antonio's another team in the NBA that only has one sports city.
That's also true. Yeah, the Spurs.
Yeah, there's another. Yeah.
I'm just looking at a map right now.
St. Louis.
St. Louis could get a team. So there's a couple problems with when you do that and you do that situation.
So,
there's a couple problems with that. Is like first off, you're invading already kind of cemented fan. Like especially if you go into like a place like St. Louis.
St. Louis hadn't had an NFL team. They had the Rams.
Yeah. That's right.
So,
that's right. You're right.
They're going.
Right.
These two places need to be going back to places they already know.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Again, I'm not as connected to the NFL. I do need to mention that.
I would like to see a team. Let me just look at a map. It's hard to do this without looking at a map. I'm just like,
yeah, I'm looking at a map right now too. It's like I really don't know how you could expand to 8 teams without going north of the border, or even south. Like I don't know how you can make south work, but like I don't even know how. I don't know how you could make 8 more teams without going out of the country. I don't know how you could do it. And then the other question is too, like we talk about all this, is there enough players to spread it around and be an all competitive league all around?
Yeah. The thing is for me in the South, like college football rules, like,
yeah,
I feel like they would accept it, but they wouldn't, nothing's going to beat the other option.
I don't know. I think if the NFL went to like, let's say New Mexico or something, I feel like people would generally
Albuquerque, like I mean,
hell yeah, bro. Why not?
I could see Albuquerque. I could see maybe Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, there's a couple. The other thing is too is like population. Like population.
Yes, that's the way you need to look at. Like that's why I say San Antonio will be perfect because they have a big population center. San Antonio and Austin are like an hour away from each other, so that's 2 big population centers going into one.
Yeah, and I will say this too: the world is always evolving. There's new people coming into the world every day.
Yes.
There's new people coming into the country every single day. Whether the news says that or not. These places are going to grow, especially when you bring a sports team there. Like,
yes,
you're going to help out with the economy in the city as well.
Yes, and this is and we always talked about. I'm going to say if they do go outside America, the first place they're going is probably Mexico City.
Yeah. They do like their football down there.
They do. I'm trying to think of the other places real quick. You can maybe go to Memphis. That taps because Memphis. I don't know if you know. Memphis is right on the border of Arkansas.
Yeah.
So it taps into those outer areas as well. Maybe Columbus. Columbus is nothing's ever gonna be bigger than Ohio State football though.
You also have Cleveland, not that far.
Cleveland's not that far, and you have Cincinnati right there as well.
Yeah, so
maybe you go to a place like Charleston, South Carolina, split up the Carolinas.
Maybe.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to bring in eight teams because there's like, everywhere you look is covered. And if I was going to go, you could bring in Vancouver and Toronto, but Toronto, that's Bills country.
Yeah, a lot of Bills fans.
Vancouver, that's Seahawks country.
Yeah, it creates more rivalry. I think there would be fans who would turn over. They'd be like new generations of fans. But
yeah,
it would take a while.
It would take a while. Yeah. Because like it's so. Unless you want to go to untapped markets, like. Let me
ask you this though. We can talk about those all you want. Are you content with the 32 teams they have right now?
Yes. If they don't expand, I'm totally fine with that.
let's move on to the NHL. Because I think we spent a little bit too much time on the NFL, which is fine, but I want to get onto the NHL. The NHL, if they're going to expand, which by the way, I don't know if they should. I think
it's happening though. Like it's happening.
They need to go back to Arizona. Arizona can work under the right circumstances. I will stand by that till the day I die.
Yes, I know you will, and I will say I think Arizona should get a team back, but I think there should not be the first priority.
I agree.
I'm going to say right now, as a Canadian, I hate the idea of going back to Atlanta.
I was going to bring this up. I know you hate this with all your heart.
Because here's my thing. You're not putting it downtown. You're putting it in a suburb an hour away.
I'm sorry, bro, but it's going to happen.
It's happening.
Like, I've accepted it. I've accepted it's going to happen.
No, I've accepted it's happening too, but if it fails, I'm going to be the first one laughing.
That is always how you are. That's how you are. And that's not a bad thing, by the way. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, like the Angel going back to Atlanta, like I don't know if you know this, but like the Nashville market is like the South, like it's the South's NHL team basically. Like,
yeah, I know.
Nashville taps into Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, like all their TV deals all throughout those states.
Yeah. I know.
You get Atlanta, and Atlanta, I think Atlanta's the biggest city in the South. Atlanta's a huge metro area.
It does make sense in some ways. You have a really good,
like on paper, this should work, but fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, fuck you, Gary.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're gonna have to go back to Atlanta. It's gonna happen. I've accepted that. The buyers already want to go there.
Yeah.
I think you can also look at it too. From Atlanta, you can look at the fact that like you can ask like, well, why didn't it work out? I think a lot of it was
just bad ownership.
Yeah, and if you get good owners, maybe things could work.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna just write off a few cities here. Just for shits, because they've been either mentioned or I think it would work.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with New Orleans. That's been mentioned.
That has been mentioned. I don't know how that would work though.
First of all, their arena, big booty cheeks. They would have to get a new rink. New Orleans, enough like you go to New Orleans. First of all, New Orleans is not that big of a city. First of all, every player before the game is going to get blitzed on Bourbon Street.
Yeah. That is also true.
I think New Orleans it's a nice idea, but I think it's a pipe dream.
I agree.
Houston,
I fear is probably also happens.
I think Houston's the favorite.
Yeah, I think that happens also. Okay, go ahead.
San Antonio,
I don't know how if you could fit all 3 teams in that area.
It'd be cool, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure that happens either. I'm not going to lie to you.
Kansas City. They have an arena.
Yeah, you got to ask yourself: is it close enough to?
Pretty sure it's 6 hours away from St. Louis.
Okay, so you could do that then, because that's the distance.
Because then you tap into the Kansas market, you tap into the Iowa market, and Nebraska, maybe OKC as well, but yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of OKC.
You're right.
They had the Tulsa. I don't know if they. No. They had the Tulsa Oilers there for a while. Or the Oklahoma City Barons. Sorry, the Barons. Sorry, I'm tripping.
I don't know. I am content with the NHL and what they have. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm very content with that.
I'm content, but I got a few more markets here that I want to get into.
Okay, go ahead.
My personal this is a me pick because I feel like there's no representation in this state. Indianapolis. It's far enough away from Chicago where you're not going to get the overlap. Like Milwaukee is like, I think it's 90 or 60 miles from Chicago. That's way too close. Indianapolis is far enough south into Indiana where it's not interfering with the Chicago. It's like Chicago can't really claim territorial rights.
Yeah, you're right.
I think.
Well, yeah. I don't really know about that. It's a little bit too close to Chicago, but you also got to factor in. I think St. Louis is right there as well.
It's 6 hours away from St. Louis.
Oh, okay, never mind. I don't know where it is exactly in Indianapolis. My bad.
Cleveland's
a good one. They have the monsters there though, like the AHL team for Columbus.
Yes. If not Cleveland, I would say Cincinnati, because Cincinnati, you tap into that Kentucky market.
Hey, that's not a bad pick. That's right there. So,
Hartford.
I
would love to see the Whalers come back just so that Carolina could stop using all the Whalers merch.
Yeah. Well, what about Quebec coming back?
I was going to say that's my next one. Quebec. I think Quebec would be, and then the the Avs going to stop using all the Nordiques merch.
That's true. It would create that Montreal versus Nordiques rivalry.
Which would like I said, my mom grew up in Montreal. She said that those games were the most intense hockey she's ever watched in her life.
Yeah, I agree.
Halifax.
So what I fear with Halifax is that it is
it's isolated.
It's isolated, and every single thing you're gonna have to do it by plane. Whether it's flying, and I know like bus trips aren't as common anymore. In the NHL, typically you just fly there.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the money and you have enough people there to build an arena, maybe it could work. But I look at the issue that you have with Newfoundland and the Growlers in the ECHL. But flying is expensive. It's a lot of money, and when you can't drive anywhere, like literally anywhere, it becomes an issue.
I would say Newfoundland is accepted because Newfoundland is actually isolated. It's an island.
Okay.
No, Halifax is not, like, Nova Scotia is not an island. It's a peninsula.
Okay, but how far is that from, like, let's say Montreal?
Oh, it's out there.
Or Boston.
I think it. Let me just look this. Let me just do a little road trip here.
Hang on. I'll get it for you.
No, I got it. Halifax to so from Ottawa, Halifax is by car about 14 hours away.
From Montreal, it is
12
to 14 hours.
From Boston, you're looking at 10 hours.
Yeah,
which is good. I mean, I should know it because I've driven to Halifax so many times. It's a long trip. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to see.
I just feel like they're just so far away. Like I don't know how you could do
that. Portland, Oregon. Think about it. It would be a natural rival with Seattle.
That would be a natural rival. Going back to Halifax real quick, I will say this. There are a couple of teams that are isolated, like Colorado, sort of, until recently, was isolated a bit.
Yes. Yeah. Up until they had Utah come in.
Yeah. But Portland would be interesting. Again, you do have the Seahawks there. The Seahawks. Yep. The Seahawks there. It's the Winterhawks. But like you do have a team already there, but the Mammoth had the Grizzlies. They're leaving, but you already had the Grizzlies there, so like that shouldn't really matter that much. But that's an interesting one.
And then let me see. Do you think Saskatchewan gets a team?
I know somebody who we know would love that, but
I feel no, it's never going to happen. I feel like it's never going to happen. It's. I
mean, never say never.
Never say never, but I feel like it's very unlikely.
50 years down the road, they could have 40 teams.
I think eventually we'll have 40 teams when I'm old in my 50s.
Yeah, when we're on episode number 100 or 1,000.
1,000, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like if you're gonna do 4 teams, You know they're going to Houston and Atlanta. Those two are locks.
Yes, that's happening.
I don't want to say, I'm not going to say Arizona's a lock, but I feel like they will be heavily considered.
Yeah, they'll be considered as well. I agree.
And I feel like also, if they do this after Gary retires, Quebec is coming back.
I also agree with that.
I think, like, I like the idea of Portland. I really like the idea of Portland or Kansas City.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting idea too. We'll see if they ever bite on that in the future, but it is an interesting topic too.
Because we mentioned three. That's three places they've been and they've left.
Yeah,
Let's get some new blood in here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. All right, we're on an hour and a half of the show. That will do it for this episode of the Northern Block podcast. LeBlanc, did you like the kind of like not knowing what we're talking about?
Yeah, no, it was cool. You get my like opinion fresh off. I know how to prepare for it, unfiltered.
Yeah, I think it made a little bit. We might do that more moving forward. We'll see.
So you got to
let us know down below.
LeBlanc unfiltered.
Yeah, I'll ask LeBlanc, like, what is your opinion on who is in the files? I'll just like bring that up on the podcast and let him talk about it raw. What are your thoughts on Tate McRae?
We're not getting into that. No. We're not getting into
Maybe
that.
We'll bring that up next episode. Speaking of next episode, before we wrap up, these fuckheads are going on a cruise. So there will be an episode next week where we are recording it on Wednesday. It's going to be a little bit of like a fun kind of episode. We're going to be asking ourselves questions. We're going to play some games live on the show. Probably be like an hour and a half.
I'll be honest, perfect time to go away though. There's no like NHL action happening.
I know. Glaze yourself.
There's no NHL action happening. There's a trade freeze. It's perfect time to go away.
Yeah, you also left on the biggest day of the year, my birthday. So
my bad.
Thanks.
My bad, gang.
Can't run it back turbo on your birthday, on my birthday. Whatever, it's fine. All right. So it'll be uploading on Monday the 16th. After that, obviously the gold medal games on the Sunday the 22nd. You guys come back then.
That's the day we get off the ship, and it's at 8 a.m. We have to be out of our room at 8 a.m. So we're gonna be watching the game on our phone at customs.
I'm sure y'all probably won't run a record, so we may record on Tuesday that week or whatever, but we'll see. Thank you all for watching. Though that's way in the future, like 2 weeks from now, but that'll do it for us. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Ciao.
I just do what I do. See me? I just do what I do. Man, I just do what I do. To know about you, I just do what I do. Check. That's the intro. See that? Yeah. I just do what I do. See me? I just do what I do. Yo, check. Let me flip this script. I feel privileged for all who can witness this. I am close to divine. Know the moment is mine, need an omen or sign. Providing a back sound to all the squares that ask around. Be getting it, my skills pay me. Trying to get $1 million, baby, with an adopted flow that God gave me. Tell whoever runners that they spot is temporary till I take it, it's mine. I'm selfish, your will. Tell Miss I'm on my wealth tip. So when we cash out soon, I'm just investing. Hey, no yes men. I've been a legend since before mom and dad had me and was best friends. I chew through comp, don't test them. I chew on tracks, cause after that I bless them. I just do what I do. You see me? I just do what I do. I just do what I do. I don't know about you, I just do what I do. Check.